Hello, we are online now. So first of all, let me thank the participants for their presence here. As you know, we are promoting this project for Media Alliance in order to have newspaper journalists and media activists at the European level and even wider, as you will see from the presence of Maryam from Afghanistan. The idea is to have a closer relation between us and between all the people that is working on the media in their own country, but to have a discussion that would be a European one, not only at the national level, how to deal with the problems, how to improve the vision of the left at European level. That's why we want to have an exchange of view with people with it involved in the communication in each country. And of course, the first step is to know what is happening in any country in Europe and elsewhere. So the idea that we had for this meeting is to have a sort of a report of what happened during this year, what is the most relevant act or impact that we had in our country, and what is our wish for the next year. So we are facing the end of the year, so it's usual to have this kind of the summary of what is happening and to see what is the best for us for the future. So let me first of all show what we had product. Our product was a calendar for the next year, and we want to thank also the project from Transform Europe, that is Change for All, that give us the availability to have the drawing that migrant children has done during their travel, during their journey to come in Europe. So we use their drawing to image our next months and our future. This is the product from Media Alliance and Transform. As you can see, you can find on this website all the drawing that we had, that we collect to image our next year with some wishes. And we had small texts to show what is our intention for the future, what are the most relevant facts that we want to arise, we would put on the table for the next year. I will go very quick. So you will find the calendar on our website to download, but we are also printing some copies to send to all the people that wants to have it in the printed version. So the idea it's now to give the floor to our partner and give the floor first of all to Alessia, that is our coordinator, and I hope that we will find again the way to describe our situation and to to have a stronger relation between us and to support the media at the European level. So thanks to all of you, and the floor is to you, Alessia.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you to all our guests. As you already told, December is the month dedicated for reflecting to the closing year and thinking about the next one to come. But is also the first one, the first end of the year as a Media Alliance network. So we would like to draw a line of about was this year and what to wish for 2022 in Europe. The perspective is a little bit dark between the pandemic surge and also the presidency of Europarliament with David Sassoli that is not running for a second term, and we seek that the front runner is now the anti-abortionist Roberta Metsola from a Maltese politician from the APP, that is the Conservative European People's Party. So there are a lot of challenges that are waiting for us, but now we want to know your opinion, and I leave the floor to Maryam Barak, that is a freelance journalist from Afghanistan, but that wrote from BC and a lot of Italian and European journals. So please, Maryam, tell us what is your wish for the Europe of 2022, please.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for having me in this meeting. As we know, December, we are going to end 2021. I wish all of you to start the new year with full happiness, full of success and achievements. And I wish I could say this for my own country, but unfortunately, as we know, the situation is not going well there. But in European, that it's my 4th month. I'm going to start my 5th month in Europe, and I would like to say I'm very happy from Europe because as I see the situation of migrants in Europe, how they are treating the refugees, how they are helping, I'm really grateful, and I would like to thank them because as we know, migrants, that when they are lifting their countries, because of some reasons, otherwise no one is ready to lift their country, their home. And as they are treating their, as European, or helping the migrants in their building their new lives, it's really good. And I can say it's a big achievement for Europeans. But as we are living as a refugee, so though we are safe, we are starting new life, but still we are facing some problems, like we have to start our life from the beginning, like we don't know the language, the culture, and also the lifestyle. But still we are happy because we are surrounded by many kind people that they are guiding us. They are going to show us our path, that how we have to start our new life. So we are really happy from this. And for European, I really wish a very happy year, a year full of success and achievements.
Thanks, Maryam. Can I ask you, how is the situation now in Afghanistan? You have people there living there, your parents are, and so maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, everyone knows that situation in Afghanistan is very bad. Day by day, the situation is getting worse. Though we were thinking, like in previous government, when there was some bomb attacks or suicide attacks, the Taliban were the person that they were taking the responsibility of that attacks. But unfortunately, when the Taliban took power and they are ruling the country, still there is bomb attacks, and there is no one to take the responsibility of this bomb attacks. Still people are dying because of suicide attack, because of bombing, because of this suicide attacks. And apart from this, nowadays the biggest problem in Afghanistan is hunger. As we know, the relation of Afghanistan with the world, with the other country is like as they had a good relation in the in past, they don't have that good relation now because of the Taliban, because they are not recognized by the international community. So the international aids are closed, and also there is no job opportunity. Afghani currency is losing its value. Things are getting, the prices of things are getting high day by day. And also, as we know, the situation of women are very bad there. Though the activists, the women activists, they are protesting for their rights, but unfortunately they are facing the maltreatment from the Taliban, because Taliban are not allowing them to have protests. Though they are saying, we don't want to raise our voice for the Taliban to give us our right. We just want our rights that would hear our voice, and they know how is the situation of women in Afghanistan. But as I'm observing nowadays, like apart from war, apart from the women rights, apart all of these problems, the biggest problem is hunger. People don't have a shelter. They don't have anything, any food to eat, because just for getting some money to buy food, they are even ready to sell their kidneys. And when I'm seeing some posters that people wants to sell their kidneys, it's really hurting us. And also the child marriages is increasing there, because families are going to sell their daughters just for getting some monies. Also, apart from child marriages, families are ready to sell their children just for getting some monies. Even some people committed suicide because they said we cannot survive in this environment. We cannot see our family to die because of the hunger. So they committed suicide. And also the other biggest problem, though European countries and also some other countries are still ready to send humanitarian aid, but unfortunately we cannot trust the Taliban. I had read news that some European countries sent some money for paying the salary of teachers and also some government employees. But as I'm in touch with some teachers and some employees, they haven't even received their salary. And the hunger is the biggest problem for them. When I'm reading such news and seeing such news, I'm really getting depressed. And also for those people that they migrated to Europe and some other countries, it's very, very difficult for them, because all Afghans are not evacuated with their families. Some migrants, families of some migrants, they left in Afghanistan, and it's really difficult for them, because here they are going through uncertain future. They lost their 20 years achievement and efforts. They have to start their new life from the beginning. And besides these all, they are really concerned and worried about their family which left in Afghanistan, because now Afghanistan is a very worse situation. And like every year, Afghans, I can say in previous government, we did not have peace, but at least we had freedom. At least we had good relation with the world. At least international forces or international foreigner forces were exist in our country, and we had a type of security and also assurance that we have good relation with the world. But unfortunately now Afghanistan does not have a relation with the other countries of the world. So that's why the situation is getting worse day by day, and people are very concerned. They don't know how long they have to bear this situation. And even sometimes I'm stuck and I'm thinking with myself that how we can help Afghan people, how this tough situation will pass, who will help us, and how, what will be the solution. I'm always thinking about this. And every year, like we were wishing in, because winter is beautiful with cold, with snow, with all these things. And we were always wishing that Kabul covered with snow. And but unfortunately, this year, we are just wishing there would be no snow, there wouldn't be cold, because people don't have shelter, they don't have food, and they are not ready to bear this situation. And we are really stressed, and I'm always thinking about them. And apart from me, because I'm lucky, I'm with my family, I'm in a safe place, but it's very tough for those families that they are in Europe, but their families are left in Afghanistan. It's really tough for them.
Thanks a lot.
Yes,
Alessia.
I completely understand, and I want to ask you a last question. Keeping in mind what you told us, do you think that the Afghan situation is told correctly from the European press?
Sorry?
Do you think that the European press is telling the truth about the Afghan situation in a correct way?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can say they are telling the truth, and also, but unfortunately, I can say it's not the fault of media, especially Afghan media, because they are under pressure. I can say that when there was a protest of women activists for their rights, the Taliban were not allowing journalists to cover this protest or raising their voice, and they are under pressure. That's why they are not allowed to publish the reality, what is happening inside the society. About European press, I can say yes, to a limit, they are publishing the reality and all these things. But as I think, there is something that which is not publishing by the press, though it's Afghan media or international media, because of the Taliban. And as I'm a journalist, I'm in touch with the common people. When I'm hearing some news, it's not even covered in media, and it's really hurting me. And that's why I'm trying to raise their voice. And because now the Taliban, they are saying we are going to allow the women and girls to get education, but still the doors of schools, higher schools, are closed for girls. They are not allowing girls to go. And also they are saying we are allowing women to work, but still women are not allowed to work freely. They are stopping women. Where are you going? Where is your mahram? Why you are alone? Or they are saying why you are single? Like these things. This news have not covered in media. And this is something which I hear from common people, and they are by themselves, they are the victim of this situation. Like one of my friends, she was going to office and the Taliban stopped her. Why you are alone? Where is your husband? Where are you going? And even she did not say I'm going to office. She said I'm going to my parents' home. Because but still the Taliban did not allow her and said, go to your home, bring your husband with you, and then you can go, because you're not allowed to go anywhere alone without the man of your family.
Thanks.
I really think that is something that should be told more. And now I give the floor to Argiris Panagopoulos from Avgi, from Greece. And please, Argiris, tell us what happened in Greece in 2021.
Thank you, Alessia. Dear friends and comrades, good morning from Athens. Greece is going through a difficult year, perhaps even worse than the period of the memorandum, because the government of Mitsotakis is worse than the government of Samaras and Venizelos, the right-wing New Democracy, and the socialist PASOK. At a time when 93% of intensive care units are full and the country is behind in vaccination, Mitsotakis refused to hire doctors and nurses and has submitted a budget that envisages cuts of 800 million euros of health next year. As if the health crisis wasn't enough, the ecological destruction of a large part of the country's forests arrives as well. In summer, we had to deal with the huge fires after having fired almost all the volunteers firefighters in the spring, with half of maybe more fighting planes not working, and sending police with scooter to patrol the fire-affected areas instead of sending firefighters to put out the fires. This year, Mitsotakis proceeded with the privatization of the electricity company DEI and the privatization of the insurance system for the new employees. While the list of privatization even includes the thermal baths. It also closed the doors of the public university to about 30,000 young people, having previously abolished the university asylum with forbade the entry of the police in universities, and increase university and create a university police recruiting 1,000 police officers. Greece has become a police state. Drones are constantly flighted over our heads in every mobilization, and police violence has exceeded off limits. At the same time, the government decided to spend more than 10 billion euros to buy 24 Rafale, 3 frigates and 3 corvettes from France, 2 frigates and 6 minesweepers from the Netherlands, and 3 anti-submarine helicopters, and 1,200 armored vehicles from the USA, while previously increased compulsory military service from 9 to 12 months. Even the salary increase promised by Mitsotakis is a joke, because they are limited to only to 2%, or 12, or a maximum of 20 years for the vast majority of employees, while many people, young people, are forced to work for less than 600 euros a month, and precarious work is constantly increased. Greece is now part of Visegrad Europe, which means for the immigrants and the asylum seekers. We are now in refuge center prisons, risking daily fooling victims to illegal deportation to Turkey. The minister of the strong far-right wing of democracy are also very hostile to the rights of women, homosexuals, and to diversity in general, while promoting the most obscure views of the part of the Greek Orthodox Church regarding the coronavirus, the vaccination, and the protection against its dispersion. The government has almost a complete monopoly of information, controlling all TV channels that have full daily programs, public and private, and except for all 3 daily newspapers, while donate tens of millions in its friendly media and as an anti-pandemic advertisement. In the concert, and given the health crisis, it's very difficult to form a strong social and political opposition, both because of the lack of strong unions and because of the inability of the progressive and leftist forces to form a common front against the right and the extreme right. The organization of aggressive fascist groups and the tolerance of other ways their coverage by the government lead to the risk of creating a new fascist formation, such as the Golden Dawn. Although the new democracy will need every vote, because the next election will be held with the system of simple proportional, and will not able to get the bonus of 50 seats of the 300 of the parliament for which the first party comes. Something similar is happening with this Progressive Alliance, which will need the cooperation of other progressive parties if it win the elections. As far as Europe is concerned, it seems that new liberal policies and the big gifts to business continuing, forgetting the word of work, while the promise for some substantial change in the Stability Pact are fading. With my best wishes for a happy new year with the coronavirus, without the coronavirus, and the new liberalism, the big challenges to next year as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Argiris. So what you wish for 2022?
To win coronavirus and this new liberalism in politics, because we are very bad in Greece. After said Maryam, I'm very better, but the situation is very bad in Greece, and the future is almost bad.
Thank you very much, Argiris. Roberto, you want to add something?
No. Thanks, Argiris. I'm just wondering if it's possible to have the text that you are written so we can publish as well in our website, and this is of course for everyone.
Yes.
If it is possible to have a report for this year in your country, it would be nice to have it.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Now we give the floor to Małgorzata Kulbaczewska, from director of Strajk.eu from Poland. And so, Małgorzata, what's the 2021 in Poland?
Hello, everybody. And the question is complex because the 21st this year started in Poland with the biggest mass mobilizations that we've seen for years, and it ends pretty with the sentiment that again nothing has changed and that the situation is getting worse. This was the year when women finally saw their rights, their abortion rights, their rights on to control fertility rejected by the ruling far right. It was also the right when we realized that women really are dying due to this law, because we had the first victims, the first women who were refused abortion and who in the end did not come back from hospital alive. That was also a year when we realized that no matter what economical problems the ruling right encounters, they will stick to the propaganda that everything is great and that Polish nation is flourishing, that we are regaining our position in the European Union, we are again a respected nation among others, and so we are on the right path. We saw how the government was pumping money into far-right nationalist organizations instead of green transformation of energy, to give the easiest example. We also saw how the minorities are being targeted, be it LGBT plus community, be it migrants, like in recent months, be it women, well, not really a minority in Poland, but we could say a minority if we count voices in the public sphere. So we realized that we need to organize, but still we did not really start to do this, as we have basically the same organizations and groups that we had at the beginning of the year. And more people in Poland are left with a feeling of being powerless, being ignored, and not having their problems addressed by nobody in the public sphere. And to make matters even worse, the biggest social democratic party in the parliament just got splitted a few days ago. And again, they are discussing their own internal problems instead of leading an alternative to the right-wing government. Well, what can we, it is also, the picture would not be complete without the pandemics, because again, Poland is beating the set records in mortality and number of COVID cases. And the government again is trying not to see the thing, or rather is trying to say that everything is under control, because a good deal of their voters are actually against compulsory vaccination or against vaccination at all. Well, I don't want to say that we can't do anything with that, because on one hand, a lot of people are feeling powerless and feeling that again they were left alone. But on the other, we saw this year and previous year that Polish people can mobilize even in a spark if something really triggers us and if something really hits us strong. And there will be more things to hit us in the coming months. The prices are going higher, the inflation is getting really wild in Poland, and the huger groups of working people, including those who are employed by the state, like teachers, like state officials, like people working in judiciary, they are all getting more, they feel that their work is not seen, is not considered important, and that basically the only pay rises they can count on comes when the government raises the minimum wage, which is actually going to happen again. Well, there are a lot of big groups who wait for their representation, who just are beginning to organize, who are beginning to discuss what to do and what other forms of protest can we use if street marches, if street demonstrations turn out to be inefficient, with our arrogant government uninterested in any kind of social dialogue or dialogue with the angry people. Well, we need to keep up the work we were doing so far as the left-wing media, as trade unions, as left-wing organizations. There are actually more and more people interested in left-wing ideas. They see that talking about patriotism and standing up from the knees is just an empty discourse that is to hide that Poland's position in the European Union is falling, that we are disrespected by other countries because nobody likes our government behaviors in the international scene, and that our right-wing government was able to help the socially vulnerable people only during the times of the good when the economy was good, and under the economic crisis they are as helpless as we are in our everyday lives. So, well, we need to keep up good work and think what to do to make it even more efficient.
Thank you, Małgorzata. And in this perspective, and keeping in mind that, as I already said earlier, David Sassoli is not running for a second term in the Euro Parliament, and the frontrunner is a politician that is anti-abortionist. So what do you wish for 2022 and what you forecast for Poland?
Well, my first wish would be that the rule "no profit on pandemic" is not only a slogan of left-wing groups and of socially oriented people. And that the governments in Europe and not only stick to this rule, because only with that we will be able to get out of the pandemic in the end and think about building a better world. Secondly, I wish myself and other women in Poland and everywhere in Europe that we are taken seriously, that our rights are not considered a secondary question, not a kind of, lifestyle thing that is not serious enough to be addressed in politics, that our voice is heard and that our rights are undisputably human rights and not something that is questioned by this or that politician. And finally, I wish us all that the just transformation, green transformation is not only discussed, but implemented in practice and taking into consideration everybody in Europe.
Thank you, Małgorzata. And now, if he's there, I give the floor to Gema Delgado from Mundo Obrero. Gema, are you there? I can see you.
Hello. Not yet.
I can hear you, but I can see you.
Yes, I'm trying to do the video.
If you need some time, okay. Now I see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
And the same question for you. What happened in Spain during the 2021?
Well, as you know, we are now in the government. The 30th of December, it will be 2 years from since they signed the agreement to go to the government together. And so on this side, we managed to have a lot of advances. It's not very easy because the right and the far right they are getting strong. They are very insulting. They are very aggressive, violent. The violence is increasing. But by now, the government, the coalition between Socialist Party and Unidas Podemos will carry on, and we managed to do very good job, especially in labor rights and social rights. As you know, we have the Yolanda Díaz on the government of work government, and so we managed to have laws like the riders, which was new in Europe and very progressive. We have the right to not be get out of work if you are ill, for example. We changed because before the pandemic, it was if you were right, the enterprise have the right to get you out. And we have a new law education. We have quite a lot of progress we are doing, and now we are working in trying to get, you know, I'm sorry because we are closing the paper, we have to send to print, and I haven't have time to prepare anything, sorry. But so I think we have done a very good work. And also in the democratic memory law, which we haven't finished yet, but you know, it will be ready soon. It will be approved by the government, by the parliament soon. And in equality, women equality, we have also a lot of progress, and we. Unidas Podemos is in the Minister of Equality, and so they've been working very well, doing a lot of work, and this time they have resources, economical resources to do it, because before it was okay, it was something, but they didn't have money to do anything, so it was the way, okay, you are there, but you have no right to do anything. You have no resources. So now, you know, this government with the president of Unidas Podemos is doing quite a good work. No, no, the work we would like to be done, but quite a lot. You know, we want to go further, but it's better to arrive here that don't have done anything, because as I told you, the right, the Partido Popular, is getting closer and closer. You know, the enemy of they are trying to fight for the votes of Vox, the ultraderecha, the far right. So the way of doing it is to be as violent as the far right is by now. And so if you want, as I've seen, I've been looking for you listening by Facebook before, But as I listened that you asked someone to write something to publish about the situation of the country this year. So if you want, we can send you, 1 page, 2 pages about the balance of the situation as soon as we close the paper.
Thanks, Gemma. Just one question: how is dealing with the pandemic situation in Spain?
On one hand, we are leading the vaccination numbers in Europe, and we don't have too many people who are against of vaccinations. From yesterday, kids from 5 to 12 are having the vaccinations. It depends of the regions of the autonomic. So some are having the vaccinations in the schools, others people in the health centers, and the reaction of people, it's very good. People are having to looking forward having the vaccination. Most of people, I think, the first day, 85 of parents arrived with the authorization for the kids. We have something different from the rest of Spain, because here the Popular Party with Isabel Ayuso decided this is the area of freedom in Spain. Yeah? So even in the Partido Popular, the Popular Party, the leader Casado decided this year they were not going to have a dinner, Christmas dinner, the party. So Ayuso from Madrid said that yes, that there's no problem. It will be against bars and restaurants and whatever. But at the end, has to say that she was, a base militant and have to do what the boss said, But even the Popular Party said, okay, we are not going to have dinners. And so people are more relaxed. But the third vaccinations for people under 55 is just going on. And you can ask for vaccination from today, if you are 55, to have it in your local place or in a hospital. And my brother just did it now and sent me a message. And so, but the situation with the new virus is just getting worse as it's happening in everywhere.
Yes, that's right. We hope to find a solution altogether. As you may know, we are also promoting a campaign, Anice, and citizen initiative for to give the opportunity to all the country to produce the vaccine without patents. So I hope that this will be a good opportunity to arise our voices, because otherwise nobody will change the rules. And I hope that all even in your newspaper you can promote this campaign, because it's important to reach the 1 million signature that we need.
Yeah, we signed for it. I personally did, and we just published the information. It was started a couple of months ago, I think.
No, it was no. It's even before.
Before, yes.
It will end in August. So until August, we have to push this.
Yeah. So yes, you are right. It will be good to remind it. Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Alessia. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's very important. And Gemma, very briefly, your wishes for a European 2022 and a Spanish one also, what we have to expect.
Well, I always wanted to do something, but which is switch off TV for a whole year. So so people will have more time to talk between them and to read, and because contamination we are having. And so, well, now seriously, what I would like to have for next year is peace in the world, because I think it's one of the main menaces. And so I hope the debate, how do you say, preview the perspective for Europe with the right, the far right, and the next election in France and in other countries, even in Spain, just that bad dreams disappear. That people just get more involved in what's going on our lives, and just start taking part, getting more active in social movements, in politics, in understand that everything we do is politic, because nowadays is a big reaction. Yesterday I went to the market. It was I went to a place I haven't been before, and the man just tried to make friendly, just telling me, I was buying a chorizo, sausage, no, chorizo, and here chorizo is the same word to say people who are cheap, stolen people, people who are stolen. And so he said, no, now we changed the name. Now we call it robbers instead of sausages, because it's like politicians. All of them are robbers, no? Are, how do you say, thief? What is the word in English? And so I have to answer him and said, well, I'm much more scared of electrician companies and other things like that, And so, but people just joke a lot with, just trying to put down all the politic things, all the politicians, just the degradation of all that work. And so I hope for the next year to just to demolish that idea and get people to get involved in what's going on in their areas, in their quarters, in their cities, and with other people, to have more solidarity and stop looking on our own and for ourselves, and just do it for the common. Well, all the best for you.
Thank you, Gemma. Thank you very much. And now we go to Italy with Stefano Galieni, that today represents Left Magazine. And Stefano told us about the Italian 2021. What happened?
If you give me this question 2 days ago, I spoke very pessimistic way. But yesterday I've had hope. Yesterday was 5 big demonstration, the trade unions. I was in one of these demonstrations, and was the first big demonstration against the government. What's the government in Italy? In Italy, in the government, there are the leftists. They call him the leftist, Democratic Party, the Liberal Party, and the Fascist Party, the xenophobic party. They stay together. They think in this way we attack the crisis. We win the pandemic crisis, but what is the situation? Lost wages in Europe, precarious employment, especially in the south, or for the women, for the young. This is the situation in Italy. It's not good. Not bad like Afghanistan, of course. But I think that if it's impossible that we stay in a country that have opposition, leftist opposition. we need to build a leftist opposition. This is also my hope for the 2022. This way, I speak also at the next question. On left, I'm very proud to speak about for left. I write especially about migrant, refugee, and similar questions. Also for this, the situation is bad. The past years was very horrible. For example, we have in Europe, we have an agency, and his name is Frontex. Frontex, that stay in Varsavia, but our agency in all the Europe countries, also only in Italy, reject in the 2021 26,000 people in the detention center in Libya, in Tunisia, in Algeria. And I don't know the end of these people. I know that we can, the detention center in Libya, lager, because the people are subject to violence. And so this is the Europe that we build. In the 2021, the European country, not the Italy in this way, but the Italy used other instrument. In European country, we build 1,600 kilometers of the wall. It's impossible to enter for the not only to the east or to the south. It's impossible to move for the migrants or refugee moves into the Europe in this way. Police, dogs for hunt the refugee, and many people suffering. Do you know the crisis in Poland with Belarusian? But not only. They prepare in Europe a new pact on migration and asylum, they call the Commission, the European Commission. And I know that I think that I hope that will be impossible to accept this. But this pact, unexpected, that's only one word, really, only one word: deportation, deportation, deportation. We build the fortress in Italy and the fortress in Europe. Frontex, I spoke about Frontex before, received billions of euro for this illegal reject peoples. But this is the situation in 2021. I think that we cannot accept it if in 2022 will happen the same stories.
Thank you, Stefano. You already made a little spoiler, but so what do you wish for 2022?
It's really, but if you speak about the past, about also the few days ago, it's impossible. Don't think. I think one things about the 2022. I think that when a little move, a little project like our Media Alliance is very, very important. Happy Good Year a new media alliance, because in this way, if we can change the story, the information, what's happening happen really in our country, I think we can change this situation in Europe, but not only in Europe. Maryam spoke us about the really situation in Afghanistan. We can to use the important rule of Maryam. The next week you can read a good article of Maryam Barak in left. Little, this is a spoiler. But I think it's very, very important that we changes article information. Only one little example. If you read the media mainstream today, they spoke about the strike and the demonstration of the trade unions of yesterday. Very, very, very bad rule made. They don't accept that the people don't accept to stay in this condition, and the information is is bad. The demonstration of the trade unions, etc., etc. If a European citizen read only the media mainstream in Italian media mainstream, I think, oh, why the people, the trade unions context this exceptional government. I think the square of the yesterdays, we need to tell why the people stay in the square yesterday. And I hope that many times we stay in this similar square, not against the vax, not against the migrants, not against the poor, but against the rich, and against the war, against the people that employment, the military military
expander.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, but English, is very bad. I hope that the 2022 is this type of years, and I hope that 2022 will be a year that also in Italy there will be a very, very strong leftist forces.
Thank you very much, Stefano. Now, Roberto, would you say something?
Yes, first of all, thanks a lot, because we, as Stefano says, we need to have this exchange of view, and we need to build a common ground in order to have a change, because we know that only if we are united, then we can change something. Yeah. And to build this kind of a conscience, it's part of our work. And I thanks Gemma, because it's inspiring us, because Spain for us is it's the light behind the tunnel. So I hope that we will find a way to have a special report, a special meeting with the Spanish guys, in order to have a deep knowledge of what is happening here, what is happening there, and what is the solution that we can build all together. And I know, thanks to Yolanda, also Europe has made the same rule for workers in the platform and riders. So This is my wish for the next year. It's a small wish, but it's just the first step. And then, of course, we will keep in touch with all of you. And I want to share again the calendar that we produced for this year, for the next year, and we will send you all the PDF, but also the printed version of this. I think that you will find some notice for the next year wishes, and we end this calendar with the word against the war. I think that many of us are sharing the same condition, because we still have our government spending a lot in army, in diet instrument, and as Argiris says, also in Greece, we bought boat and army instead to have justice and climate change solutions. So I think we share some ideas, and maybe to have this kind of a conscience at the European level will reinforce us also at the local level. So let's do our best for the next, and try to keep together and work together. It will be also an help for each of us, not only for the Europe that we want. Thanks again. Thanks to all of you, and see you next time.